I know I'm not failing, but sometimes it's really hard to tell if I'm actually succeeding. Oh, and I'll explain why I'm in the bathroom in a little bit. I know I'm not failing, but often I question whether or not I'm successful. And that's a really odd place to be in because it leaves you confused. And if I'm to be honest, in that confusion, I've started to wonder what success even means. And that's what I want to share with you in this video. I don't trust what counts. That's actually the problem. Not that I'm failing. I don't think that I'm failing, but I can't tell if I'm succeeding either. And those feel like the same thing until you really look at them. This is a question I think about often. I think about it because I honestly don't know. And yet, I feel like there are always people I see out there touting their successes, their accomplishments, their victories, and it makes me a little bit jealous. I see people with huge followings on YouTube. I see people selling out yoga retreats. I see people opening up studios, starting new businesses, and it makes me question myself. The thing is, if you spend too much time in that place of doubt, you start to feel like something is wrong, like you're missing something, like everyone else has figured it out and you didn't. And from there, it's a real quick jump to thinking you need to change everything. You need to burn it all down, to start over, to book a flight, to try something new. And I've had those thoughts before. But here's the thing. I don't actually think the problem is that I'm not succeeding. I think the problem is I don't trust what counts as success. Because when I really look at it, my life isn't empty. There are things happening all the time, things that I don't post about, things that I don't celebrate, things that no one else sees, but for some reason, those don't register as successes. They don't feel like accomplishments, and I'm starting to think that might be the real issue. Not that nothing is happening, but that I've been taught to only recognize the things that are loud enough and bold enough for other people to notice. To be honest, I really miss the days before cell phones, when life felt like you were doing things for yourself, when you could build a fort or paint something or sit by the radio or make a mixtape. It felt like everything was for you. It was in the way that you wanted it. It was how you envisioned it. If it was great, it was because you thought it was great. And if it was shit, it was because you thought it was shit. There was no question, no second opinion, no need for confirmation or validation. And somewhere along the way that changed. Things stopped being just for you and started being something else. They started being something that could be seen and shared and judged and measured. And once that happened, it wasn't good enough for something to be good anymore. It had to be recognized. Everything needed to be externally validated. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, the places you go to. And although I'm not one to react to these pressures in general, I can still feel the weight of them. It feels like I'm losing a connection to what it is that I actually want. I feel that this is a trap, the trap that distorts the idea of success. Not feeling successful is one thing, but there's something else happening that I think is even more subtle. We stop registering what's actually going right because there are things happening all the time, small things, ordinary things, things that don't stand out. Finishing your taxes, cleaning your bathroom, getting a good night of sleep. They happen and then they're gone. They don't leave a mark. They don't feel like anything. So they don't count. And when enough of those moments stop counting, it starts to feel like nothing is happening, like you're not moving forward, like you're stuck. But that's not actually true. It just looks that way. Every year I lead a yoga retreat in Costa Rica. We go down in June. You should come if you can, which is the rainy season. And even though it's sunny most of the time, it rains, of course. And when it does, everything slows down. You don't go anywhere. There aren't really adventures to go on. There aren't photos to take. You don't do anything extra. You just be. You sit, you listen, you wait, you practice. And what's left is simple. yoga, good food, community, conversation. And it's funny because in those moments, nothing is really happening, but it doesn't feel like nothing. It actually feels so full. It's strange because those experiences, they're not unique to Costa Rica. They exist here too, in normal life, in the unexciting things, the ones that don't stand out, the ones that don't register. But I have to say, lately, I'm starting to trust them more and more. Take this new endeavor with YouTube videos. There's this quiet satisfaction in getting the lighting right, how the shadows hit my face, in having clean audio, in figuring out a new way to edit something or put words on the screen, in filming a yoga class. And what's interesting is that none of that is really visible. No one sees that part. No one can respond to that part. There's nothing to show for it. And for a long time, that felt like it meant that it didn't count. But now I'm not so sure, because even if no one watches the video or no one does the class, those moments still feel like something. And I think that's the part that's easy to miss. Not because it isn't meaningful, but because it doesn't come with any proof. And when you only trust the things that come with proof, you start to lose track of everything else. Because if those moments don't count, it starts to feel like nothing is happening. So you look for something bigger, something that leaves a mark, something you can point to, and when you find it, it feels good for a moment, and then it becomes the new standard. And everything that was actually holding your life together still doesn't register. So even when things are going well, it doesn't feel like it. Nothing is actually wrong, but something feels missing. But maybe nothing is missing. Maybe it just looks that way because we've been so trained and so conditioned to only recognize the things that stand out, the things that are Instagram worthy, the things that get confirmed with 2 thumbs up, things that can be seen. But if that's true, then it would make sense that everything else just fades into the background. Not because it isn't there, not because it isn't meaningful, but because it doesn't demand your full attention. It just sits there quietly. And maybe that shift in perspective is the shift that we're looking for. Not in trying to find something bigger or better or more obvious, but in starting to notice what's already happening. The things that don't need to be recognized, that still matter. Because maybe success was never in the big moments. Maybe it's been there the whole time. I just wasn't noticing it. Just not in the way that we've learned to look for it. I don't know if that means I'm succeeding, but it feels a little bit different when I see it that way. And maybe it does for you too. So at the end of the day, I have a mortgage. I have a job that I love. I live in a beautiful place. And I clean my own bathroom. And if you ask me, that's pretty damn successful.